Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Sofamanager Betfred League Cup preview show. Hooray! Summer football is here, essentially. This is the first competitive football of the season in Scotland, essentially. And on this week's podcast, we'll be previewing the group stages. So, yeah, let's get straight into it with my co-host John. Hello!
Hello!
So, first and foremost, listeners, what is the Betfred Cup? Do tell me, John, what is the Betfred Cup?
I'll tell you what the Betfred Cup
Oh,
is.
will you?
It's actually called the Scottish Professional League Football League Cup.
Oh, hidey-ho.
Probably.
Yeah, what formerly known as the League Cup.
Probably known as the Scottish League Cup, yes.
Sponsored by any Scottish government agency they could get their hands on, because no company would actually sponsor it.
It's called by Betfred.
I know, but in the past, wasn't it the...
Scottish Communities League Cup.
Yeah, the Homecoming Scotland Cup and all that jazz.
CIS Cup and...
All that garbage. Anyway, what's the format of the competition, John?
Well, as it stands, it's currently 8 groups of 5 teams,
Yes?
each playing each other once, either home or away. And then the top 8, so the group winners, will progress in the last 16, along with the four best placed runners up,
The fastest losers, yep.
which is really kind of weird how they work that one out. And then they'll all be joined by our, I was going to say, representatives in Europe.
St Johnstone and Rangers could now be playing.
Our embarrassments in Europe.
I believe actually they now have quite a lot of bother, St Johnstone and Rangers, trying to organise friendlies.
They will certainly up here. No one's available.
Everyone's playing.
Just see who got knocked out of the Europa League and we'll go with them.
Calling all Irish, Welsh, pretty much all those teams. So these groups are split into kind of 2 regions, north and south.
So broadly speaking.
Loosely. I think that was designed to prevent long travel. So Falkirk handily got Brecon and Inverness.
Yep.
2-hour journeys respectively.
And somehow Hearts and Hibs are in the north and Hibs are in Edinburgh City are in the south.
Yes. I think the south get the better draw because it's all those Glasgow teams kind of bunched in together.
Aye, unless you're Berwick Rangers.
Yeah, there's a few anomalies. So there's 38 SPFL teams, and then there are 2 outside the SPFL. So the winners of the Highland League, which were Bucky Thistle, and the winners of the Lowland League, which were
East Kilbride.
East Kilbride, fantastic winners last year. So teams get 3 points for a win and 1 point for a draw. But how can they get the special extra bonus point, John?
Right, they have a
ding, 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 ding.
Penalty shootout after 90 minutes.
Penalty shootout after 90 minutes, which makes this competition a little bit unique. I don't think they do this anywhere else in the UK at the moment.
Certainly not in the UK.
So you get the extra bonus point to get 2 points if you win that. After the group stage, you go into round 2. I think it's then round 3, quarter-final, semi-final, and final.
Last 16, yep. Aye.
So, not too many rounds, quite an express process. And
Final sometime in November.
Final it's the first final of the year, first trophy on offer. So, first question I have for you about the format, John, are the penalties a bit of a novelty?
Yes.
Just a bit.
They're a novelty, alright.
Simple answer.
We never really had that last season for Falkirk.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was very disappointed because I was very excited
Yeah,
about
I
this
was looking
competition last season. I was like, yes, because I don't think I've ever seen penalties at a football match before.
No, yeah.
So I was very excited about that, but we actually rarely saw them in the competition. I was hoping for a few 0-0 draws, because when we did predictions last year, we were all about 0-0 draws, winning on penalties. And yeah, we just never really saw them, unfortunately.
I think it was a real complication for the BBC trying to update their tables.
Aye.
They must be preset to I'll win
Oh,
this 3 points and
3 and 1.
And it was how to try to get the extra point out of the board. It was funny as anything.
How dare you have to go in and change an Excel spreadsheet formula to actually do it. So hopefully
They should just use WordPress. It's much easier.
Wix, that's where it's at. So no, a bit of a novelty, didn't see it that much. Hopefully a bit more drawing this season.
Maybe.
We'll wait and see. Another question I have, will teams actually take the competition a bit more seriously?
If they win their first 2 games, probably.
Probably. Well, the problem with this competition is because it lies kind of so well into the start of summer. I guess teams are really not long finished playing the leagues. People kind of treat this as friendlies. It's not taken very seriously. And a lot of teams sat back next season. A few I picked out. St Mirren had a poor campaign. Dumbarton of the Championship finished bottom of their group. Even Dundee failing to qualify, and Falkirk as well. So a few of the kind of top leagues there. Although Falkirk, I think, did scrape by to second, which we'll come back to it a bit. But do you think teams maybe in the second year format maturing a bit, they're maybe a bit more used to the football starting a bit earlier?
Well, I think so. I think it was actually a success last season. I don't think you can really argue against it. I enjoyed it, even though we didn't really make it that much far.
Yeah, I enjoyed very much.
Good. The games were exactly what you would expect from a pre-season.
Oh yeah,
in terms of your quality we're playing.
They were terrible,
but it was much more enjoyable. There was something actually at stake.
It was much more friendly, much more relaxed.
Yeah.
It was quieter. I think there were not many people at the Falkirk Stadium, but it was a cheap ticket. I think all clubs are kind of realising that.
The idea, this is a good kind of hook.
Yeah.
You get a good couple of wins in the group stage. You don't necessarily need to qualify, but it's a good setup for the season coming forward.
Well, four games in a cup competition. A lot of these teams couldn't dream of.
Well, I mean, and sort of certain clubs are getting the opportunity to play, your Hearts or Hibs, or getting some local derbies in. Dunfermline are playing East Fife, Ayr Kilmarnock, which
Dundee United.
Dundee United as well. Yeah, huge game. A couple of Angus derbies as well. Certainly important for those guys up in their local area. So, in that regard, it works really well. Crap for Falkirk because we're playing 3 of the 4 teams we played last time.
Yeah,
and we're playing 4 teams from the Championship.
That was a point I was going to bring out. With this north-south divide, there are a few similarities in the teams in some of the groups. But it was a year ago. Are we really going to remember? And another problem this brings up as well, because of the 5 fixtures, is Falkirk only have 2 games at home this campaign. I guess this is something that will go in swings and roundabouts, but it'd be nice to have 3 games at home instead of 2. It feels kind of sparse with 2, but then very full with 3. I don't know.
It's not bad. I mean, in a way, you kind of hope to have been getting a bigger team for your home game. We've got Stirling Albion first, and then it's a 4th on Tuesday night. So it's not great, and I know the club are only opening the main stand.
Oh, really?
For both fixtures, so they're not going to bother.
Well, that's probably a good shout.
And I would probably assume there would be no segregation as well. All those Stirling hooligans will be coming on Saturday.
For fars! For Frida! No.
And then the 2 away games are away to Inverness and away to Brecon.
Couldn't have gone any further.
So
shan't be attending those, don't worry about that.
I mean, I might go to the Brecon game, weather depending. Inverness will be there 1 or twice during the season anyway.
That is true.
I won't bother with that.
It's a good wee preview, and I guess it kind of fills up that friendly schedule, because Scottish teams play Scottish teams anyway, so why not just formalise it, put it into a competition?
Absolutely. I mean, there's every chance that Falkirk would have played Stirling Albion for sure.
Absolutely.
This pre-season, Brecon is the kind of club we would go if we went on a mini Highland tour type thing. So in that regard, it's just a very formal pre-season.
Absolutely. One thing I noticed last year is that it was much more even than I expected. The Premiership teams didn't run away with it. The Championship teams went right behind. The results didn't really follow league by league, and I think to me it kind of highlighted how kind of similar, like ability-wise, all the Scottish teams are, be it in Championship, be it in League 2.
Especially when you get to that stage. You don't have an awful lot of match fitness underneath you. And so it's almost a kind of leveler.
It is a leveler.
Which is quite nice.
Anybody can win! Anyway, shall we get straight into it?
Let's go for it.
So let's tackle the north section first and foremost. We'll start with Group A, and drawn at the very awkward London studio, not even within the nation. I was amazed that some people, Michael Stewart, didn't burn up at leaving our borders. In Group A, in the north section, allegedly, we have Brecon City, Falkirk, Forfar, Inverness and Stirling. Now, some stats here, interestingly enough. New Look Inverness were actually the only team to qualify for the second round last year. No one else in the group actually qualified. And it's a bit of a new look side, some new signings in there. Veteran man John Baird, and this week Colin Seedorf, nephew
of Clarence,
yes. Which is a pretty cool signing. I mean, it could end up like the boy Pogba at Partick Thistle.
Aye, or Pelly at Falkirk, or Was there not where Schneider ended up at Dundee United as well?
Oh yeah, but he went AWOL.
Yeah, Rodney Schneider.
Like we've actually lost. Like, we don't know where he's gone. I think he literally just left. He realised it was that terrible.
He got lost in Broughty Ferry.
Aye.
Not to be found.
Oh dear, but new look side, new manager as well, John Robertson, who's kept quite a low profile for the last few years. Haven't seen him in a while.
Yep.
It was a pretty good manager, so I actually tipped them to do quite well in this group. I tipped them to finish in the top 6 last season, so take what I say with a pinch of salt. But I think there's a lot of freshness about this side. There seems to be kind of new energy, and I think it'll be interesting to see how they shape up.
Yep, it'll be interesting to see how serious they take it.
Yeah,
I said with Falkirk as well. When you look at them, the two, they're very even at the moment. I would say.
Well,
Falkirk and you can't sort of decimate between the two of them.
We absolutely don't know. Anything could happen. Inverness topping their group last year. Falkirk, despite me saying having a poor campaign, did eventually claw their way back to second. With only 6 points, I think, in the end they had. So not a classic campaign, but
a glorious failure, really.
Yeah, and what was a relatively weak group.
It really enjoyed them. There was every chance you could have finished best runner-up in that group, but losses to Stirling Albion, who we'll get again.
Yes, Stirling Albion in the group also.
Which didn't help, so see how we get on. Looking forward to the Stirling game.
It's
maybe a kind of rivalry, local
it's a
derby.
Good local derby. I think every chance, Stirling Albion finished third in the group last time. They were the real dark horses, threw up a few surprises. Mm-hmm. And I think, Inverness and Falkirk have not had a strong pre-season thus far.
Well, Falkirk have only played one game.
I know.
And they play Edinburgh City tomorrow, Tuesday, which I'll be going to.
Yeah.
They're playing against Spartans as well, which is really daft.
Very weird. But, not very strong opposition for them. I think the game in Hungary was a calamity. You had to travel 20 or 30 miles from Budapest and enter through a side door.
Yep. You're playing in 45 degree heat.
Absolute madness. Poor for the fans that went out there. I'm sure we'll discuss that another time. But Inverness playing mainly Highland League teams such as, Elgin and
Huntly, I think.
Huntly, yes, a few Highland League teams. So
see how they get on. You've also got Forfar versus Brecon, which is a derby.
It's a derby.
It's an Angus derby.
I think, Brecon are actually quite hotly tipped for this group here. They're coming in on a run of form after winning the League One playoff. Or no, would it be the Championship playoff?
Yeah, the League One playoff. They beat Wraith in the playoff.
The Championship playoff.
Championship playoff to get in League One in the Championship.
So it would be the Championship playoff.
If you want to call it that.
It'll be the Championship playoff.
Yeah, that's if you want to call it that.
I do want to call it that because that's what it's called. So winning the Championship playoff, knocking out Wraith on their way to doing that, and I think beating some really, beating other
Alloa
good teams
in the final. I think
Alloa will be gutted because Alloa,
they were flying for a while.
They were a really top team. So well done, Brecon there, and they've had quite a good pre-season as well. Win a few of those friendlies, and player manager Darren Dodds.
Aye, making a return.
He'll be back to face his old team Falkirk. So sadly, who's David McCracken playing for? He's Fife, is it?
Peterhead.
Peterhead. Darn, we won't see him back at Falkirk then. So yeah, I think this group's wide open. Completely wide open.
You're a brave man to put money on that group, I'll tell you.
I don't. Forfar again promoted into League One.
Mm-hmm.
After finishing second in the league last year, so winning the playoffs there. They finished fourth in their group last year. This group is totally wide open. Is basically what we're saying. If you were to tip someone, who would you tip, John?
Falkirk, but it'll be kind of not on merit necessarily, but there'll be a lot of kind of throat slitting.
Yeah. Oh, those Forfar fans at it again. I think for me, I'm going to tip Brecon City. I just feel there's a good amount of momentum behind them. But see, there's a good amount of momentum behind a lot of teams here.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of Forfar coming up, in terms of Brecon coming up, and high finishes for Falkirk last season. Inverness not really, and Stirling having a pretty middling season in League 2, finishing 6th.
Yep. We'll see how it goes. Like I say, I think, put it this way, there won't be a best runner-up in that group.
No, I think it could be too tight. Last season, the runners-up, however, were on the best runners-up to qualify were on 9 points, which is a pretty steep ask. Out of 4 games to win 3 of them.
3 out of 4, you would have to lose against the top seed.
Aye.
Or the top finisher.
And, it's really... This is a very difficult group for Forfar and Stirling because there's 3 championship sides here.
Yep.
And it's the only group of its kind as far as that is concerned.
It's quite strange in the way that it's actually panned out.
A little bit. I mean, looking through the other groups here, there's not even like a Premiership and 2 Championship or a 2 Premiership and 1 Championship. This is a collection of 3 Championship, 1 League 1, 1 League 2. So they're kind of being picked on by Championship teams here.
Yeah.
But I think when the draw would have been made, like things like Brecon and stuff would have been kind of League 1 sort of classified.
Yeah, I think it's all based on your last season.
Yeah, the seedings generally favour the Championship teams, so, or the current Championship teams at least. So, there we go for Group A.
Yep.
Looking forward to going to the Falkirk games. They're obviously the
they're reasonably priced as well, so that's fine.
Was it a £5 or something like that?
£5 again for a shouldn't.
Can't grumble. The price should be like that all the time as far as I'm concerned. So maybe not the nice sunset weather we had last year. If you look back at the old Sofamanager videos on YouTube, that's the picture I use because it's beautiful. Oh. Mainly the sky, not the stadium.
Yep.
On to Group B now. This group consists of Dunfermline, a Championship, East Fife in League 1, Elgin City in League 2, Hearts obviously in the Premiership, and Peterhead relegated this season to League 2. Quite an interesting group. I think we have to say Hearts are probably strong favourites here.
You would expect a lot of pressure on Cathro though.
There's a lot of pressure on Cathro. This is actually their debut in the competition after being knocked out by Birkirkara of Malta in last season's Europa League.
Yep.
Very embarrassingly so.
The first time they get to experience the group stage.
It is. I think the only ones really to challenge them here probably Dunfermline.
Yep.
You'd have to say.
Pretty much.
Everyone else is of a much kind of lower level.
Mm-hmm.
Although the good finish for East Fife last year, not quite getting to the Championship from League 1. But interestingly enough, Peterhead, the only ones to be promoted to the second round last season after winning their group, which is quite a surprise.
That was quite surprising. I'm sure that was... I don't know this for a fact, but I think that was Dundee's group.
It could well have been.
From last season. Dundee had a rotten run in this tournament.
But Peterhead did spectacularly well in their group, but then finished ninth in the league and relegated into League 2 through the playoffs.
Yep.
So they'll be looking for their talisman, Rory McAllister, who just punts in goals for fun.
He could play at such a high level compared to...
He could play so much. I think this is a competition that he could really shine in. Catch teams unawares.
Destroy Falkirk.
Absolutely. So I think Peterhead's one to watch here alongside Hearts. We weren't sure about Hearts in kind of recent weeks, but there's been some strong signings there. Over the past few weeks, we look at Christoph Berra, Kyle Lafferty coming in, and I hear John Suter coming back from injury too to kind of shore up.
Oh, that's good news. Yep.
Things defensively, so maybe a stronger side. I know you don't have much confidence in Cathro, John.
There's just a huge amount of turnover of player at Hearts at the moment. Like, for every one it comes in, 2 go out the door.
Yeah.
So it's quite... In that regard, I don't know how serious they'll take it. I don't know if this is more to do with the league than what it will be for progressing in the League Cup. So I think it's almost a formality that Celtic will win it. I don't know how that kind of plays into your mentality.
Very sadly. We're not thinking about that right now. It's far in the distance.
It's a really weird way to look at it, but that's how I see it. In terms of Dunfermline, I don't know. Again, league very important. I think they're going to be pushing for playoffs at the very least. They've
been a pretty steady team in recent times. Not many players going in, not many players coming out, and they've kind of crawled up the Championship slowly but surely. Finishing third in their group last season. Again, I would expect third or second for them this time round. I think they could be overhauled by a spectacular team from the lower. Could be the Peterhead playing well or East Fife. I don't predict the big things from Elgin City.
Unfortunately not. I think they're just there for the ride.
We saw them last season. They were in Falkirk's group for the Betfred League Cup,
and
they looked mince. No offence if you're an Elgin fan. I don't think you get internet up there anyway, so you're not hearing this. No, Elgin were pretty mince and were very much the whipping boys of Falkirk's group last time. So don't expect much from them.
Nope, we got that East Fife Dunfermline derby though. That'd be quite interesting. That could be a pivotal moment for Dunfermline if they want to progress.
Could be. Let's see. Interestingly enough, this is also the group of the 5th best teams in Scotland.
Yes.
Of course, we look at the league finishes. Dunfermline finished 5th in the Championship. East Fife finished 5th in League 1. Elgin City finished 5th in League 2. Hearts finished 5th in the Premiership. And where did Peterhead finish in League 1, John?
Bottom.
Ninth.
Bottom.
No, second bottom. So they're the ones ruining all the stats to come 9th, which is absolutely crazy if you think about it, that all these guys came 5th. When I was drawing up the stats today, that one stood out quite a bit. So we'll wait and see. Dunfermline kind of struggled a bit in pre-season. Got thumped by Hibs the other day, I think 4-0.
Yeah, 4-0.
Which is pretty grim.
Considering they were in the same league as them last season.
I know. So we'll wait and see how it goes. Who do you tip for this one, John?
I expect Hearts to go through. And I don't see there being a best runner-up. I think Dunfermline and Elgin... Dunfermline and East Fife, I should say, rather.
So you're ruling out Peterhead group winners last year?
Unfortunately, yes.
Going down to League 2, I think the quality of the teams maybe not.
They had their fairy tale last season.
Quite possibly. One of 2 League 1 teams to actually... Can you name me the other one? Without looking at the stat sheets.
I can't do it without looking at the stat sheets.
Alloa Athletic were the other ones too.
They go by... Was it Celtic?
I think so.
Celtic. I remember watching that on telly.
They get rewarded for winning their group by getting the best team in Scotland.
Pretty much. They should have beat by the winners.
I know. So well done them. Into Group C now. Famous long cars called Group C cars anyway. In this group we have debutants Buckie Thistle, winners of the Highland League last year, failing unfortunately in the League 2 playoffs though. We then have Cowdenbeath, who won the League 2 playoffs against East Kilbride though, wasn't it?
It was East Kilbride, yeah.
Sadly no reunion of that fixture. That would have been good. Cowdenbeath finishing bottom of League 2, man alive, what a nosedive for them. Dundee are in this group, they finished 3rd. Man alive, for a Premiership teasing that's embarrassing. And then the biggies, Dundee United, in the same group, finishing 2nd. They were one of the fastest losers last season to actually go up. There's not actually many of them about. So only 4 places there. And then Wraith Rovers, former Championship team as well. I think they're staying full time, aren't they?
They are, yeah. Don't know how recruitment's going.
Probably not well. So
they got rid of a lot of players. That one of the big centre backs in Voto moved to Dunfermline, which was a sore one.
I see most of their players are jumping ship to Dumbarton.
Mark Stewart,
Craig
Barr. There was someone else the other day.
Some lad just recently, yeah. So I think the jewel in the crown here is Dundee versus Dundee United.
Absolutely, that's the money spinner.
Televised on BT Sport. I think it's about the only interesting game.
We'll get to the other one later on, but
we shall.
Very much, yep.
So it'll be interesting to see them together. I mean, Dundee playing pretty badly last season, finished in 10th. Had some good spells, but had some very low spells.
Very inconsistent.
Very inconsistent before Neil McCann kind of came in, shored things up. Dundee United finished 3rd in the Championship, but again, not playing that well. No,
they were... Falkirk were terrible. That's how they got as far as they did in the playoffs.
So the recipe for the derby is pretty poor. By the sound of things, it's not going to be a quality.
It's not going to be a spectacle by any stretch. Is it at Dens, I think, as well?
I think it is at Dens.
So I would expect Dundee to win it, to be honest. I
think Dundee United have the problem is that the team's now weaker. Their main man Simon Murray is left to go to Hibs. Blair Spittle's joined Partick Thistle.
Nicholson left and he's now at Ross County.
Aye. Well, that reminds me. I think was it Jamie Walker or was it Sam Nicholson?
Sam Nicholson signed for Hearts. Signed for Minnesota. United. 2.5-year deal.
Sick kit, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's white with the powder blue.
It's got the target in the middle, like the American supermarket. Did think so. Forgot to mention that in the Hearts bit, sorry. So yeah, Dundee United. They've signed a few, what I've got down here in my notes as rejects.
Billy King.
Billy King, Keatings from Hibernian, bit of a reject. But Dundee, on the other side, haven't really signed anyone themselves.
Not a huge amount.
No one of note, as far as I can remember.
Note.
Some Dutchman came in. I want to say his name's Rodney Walters.
There was a Walters.
Who looked quite interesting. Had a little bit of pace, nothing too special. So, yeah, it could be a bit of a stalemate derby. This is the, weakest one to win. We'll wait and see.
Well, you never know. I'm sure Scott Allen actually signed for Dundee on a season-long loan from Celtic.
I think that happened under the radar a bit. So, we'll wait and see. Wraith Rovers obviously raided a bit. Most of their best players now gone.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be paying too much attention to this.
No.
It's all about getting back to the Championship.
A bit of a shame. They finished 2nd in their group last year. which was a pretty good performance. Sadly, not good enough to qualify for them. But yeah, I guess they'll be focused on rebuilding for the league campaign again, which should be quite competitive, with East Fife still down, Alloa Athletic still down.
They're going to have a real battle with Alloa.
So yeah, some good teams down there. And Bucky Thistle, bit of an unknown quantity.
I'm there for a laugh.
Quite possibly. The non-league teams really struggled last year. I know East Stirlingshire, I think, just about managed to muster a point in the end.
Quite possibly, yeah.
And then Edinburgh City really struggled last season as well.
I think it was all about the league for them.
So we really don't expect much from Bucky Thistle. I think Bucky Thistle likely to finish bottom. And Cowdenbeath, we would not expect much from Cowdenbeath.
No, it's the same as Race, really.
I mean, they were a championship team not so long ago and have just spiralled all the way back to League Two in a Clyde-esque fashion.
Clyde-esque fashion, you're right.
So Gary Lock no longer there, is he?
It's now...
How did they replaced him?
It's not Jimmy Nichol.
Someone along those lines.
Billy Brown.
There you go.
That guy.
So who's going to take this, John? Who's going to qualify?
To be honest, I reckon this may actually come down to best place loser as well. I think you'll see Dundee and Dundee United go through, and it'll all come down to the derby. Is
that the final game?
That's a good question.
I'd be cracking if it was. I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. No, it is.
What, it is?
It is. Yep. Dundee versus Dundee United, 30th of July. It's on telly as well.
That'd be cracking if it did come down to a Dundee United. So who's going to finish first? Who's going to finish second?
Dundee finished first and Dundee United is best placed runner up.
I am going to agree with you there. Did it last year, I fully expect them to do it this year. I don't think Wraith Rovers will cause them any bother. This is actually a fairly easy group.
Oh, straightforward.
This is probably the easiest group out of the lot.
There's nothing there that would scream slip up because the rest of the teams don't care.
Yeah, but they're kind of so below, Wraith being relegated, Cowdenbeath at the bottom of League 2 and then Highland League 2.
Non-league team, yeah.
Doesn't get any better than that. So to Group D. Now this is the last in the northern section. We have qualifiers from last season after winning the group. Alloa Athletic, amazingly. We've got Arbroath from League 1, promoted from League 2 last year in the playoffs, but...
last day of the season as well.
Oh no, not in the playoffs, they won the league.
Yeah.
I do apologise. Well done, Arbroath. Hibernian, debuting in the group stages this season after being knocked out of the Europa League qualifying by Brøndby on penalties, which was a pretty valiant effort actually. One of the better teams we've been knocked out by, considering they were in the Championship. We've then got Montrose from League 2 and Ross County in the Premiership. So we've got two Premiership teams in this group here. Alloa have been disappointed not to go up to League 2. And after winning their group last year, they could be fired up. They have a point to prove, I think.
They do indeed. And again, I think league will be absolute priority. But now they'll have the taste for it from last season, getting to the last 16.
Absolutely.
And getting a really good game against Celtic. That's a big money spinner for them.
I think Arbroath could maybe struggle a bit.
I think so too. I mean, certainly, if you look at it on paper, I think you would fancy Hibs to win the group.
Absolutely, I would agree with you there.
Ross County, you're not sure. I'm not too sure what they've been up to other than the Mickelson signing.
I saw Mickelson sign.
But that's about it, really.
I think that's an interesting signing. I think he could do a job for them. He could, Liam Boyce got such good service up there that, he could go on to emulate that.
I mean, he could be a big miss this season for Ross County. That could be a real undoing for them.
He could be not scoring too many goals for Dundee United, so...
He was pretty poor in the playoffs. But I'm right in saying that Ross County's actually only signed 2 players.
Oh, really?
In the close season so far, and let go...
I know Chris Burke's left, so he's looking at playing for Kilmarnock now. But Hibernian have been so strong in pre-season again, with that 4-0 victory over Dunfermline. Drawn 2 each with Sunderland at home. It was a pretty decent result.
Oh, aye. They're really cranking it up for a good push for top 4 this season.
Some really good signings for Hibs. Jermaine Pennant's looking to sign as well. I don't know how good he would be, but...
Maybe Whittaker would be a reasonable signing, but I don't know if you play him on the left or right, because you would obviously have David Gray on your side.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see how they get on.
Will be, but no, I would agree that I would tip Hibs for this group. I think it'll be close between Ross County and Alloa for second, to be honest.
Every chance. I think it'll all depend on how County deal with going to places like Arbroath. Alloa itself, I'm not entirely sure how the fixtures run in that group, but it'll be good to see. I mean, it's certainly a challenge for County because they've done well over the last sort of 4 or 5 years. So
Didn't qualify out the group last year, finishing third. So on now, I guess, to the south section of the draw. And this is where my notes run out. And I don't have much interesting to say. So in Group E of League 2, we have Annan Athletic. Then we have Ayr United, relegated at the Championship last season, who were actually one of the fastest losers last year. Then we have Clyde of League 2, Dumbarton of the Championship, and Kilmarnock of the Premiership. So I'd say this is a relatively weak group, to be honest.
big derby though.
Big derby, Kilmarnock against Ayr United. Don't think we've had one of them in a while, have we?
It's been a good 3 or 4 years at least.
What kind of is that? Just an Ayrshire derby then?
Ayrshire derby. That's a big derby. Really big derby.
I mean, I think Kilmarnock are actually building quite good momentum at the moment. Yeah,
They've got a feel good factor about them at the moment. Quite whether it lasts, I don't know.
I think Lee McCulloch is doing a really good job down there. They had some good results and kept themselves safe, quite far out at the end of the season last year.
Yep.
And they'll look to build. Just missed out on a fastest loser place by 1 point last season. So I think they'll look to build on that, and I think they could top this group quite comfortably.
I think they'll certainly fancy themselves in the group, considering the opposition. I mean, places like Annan, Clyde, Dumbarton, soulless kind of grounds really.
Oh, aye.
So depending on how they get on.
Dumbarton,
No disrespect to those guys, it really is though.
Dumbarton had a really rotten time last season, finishing bottom of their group, which I think is fairly embarrassing for a championship side.
Yep, but again, league is all they really care about.
But what are you really losing in the league? Putting a little bit into some games so that you're not coming bottom of the group.
It's a mentality, in my opinion, anyway. But these guys don't really. Their focus is on the league. If you get through it, you get through it. And if you win your first 2 games, I think that's a big deal. You'll fancy yourself. But Kilmarnock should, but a lot again. They play Ayr in the first game. It's a Friday night as well at Somerset. That's a big test. That's one of the last old-fashioned grounds left.
Aye.
There'll be about 10,000 people there. That'll be crying.
I think Farid will start firing again.
Is he still there?
I don't know. Hopefully not. He really struggled towards the end of last. But Ayr struggled towards the end of last season, just fielding 11 players.
Yeah, they collapsed. It's quite sad. I thought they would maybe hang on, but
absolutely,
they kept faith in Ian McCall. So we'll see how they go on. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually pull off an upset here and finish top of the group.
Who?
Ayr United, because they went full time now this season as well.
That's a funny thing to do when you get relegated.
No. I could have thought that too. Must have been a hell of a parachute payment.
Well, we wait and see. Annan Athletic actually finished third in League 2 last season, which is a very impressive considering, relatively new to the Scottish professional leagues.
Yep. Not the newest though.
Not the newest, but finishing fourth in their group last year, and Clyde finishing third. Well done, Clyde. That's a pretty good performance. But I think they'll be battling it out for similar sort of positions again, to be honest. I think Dumbarton again could look a bit lacklustre as they concentrate their resources on the new season.
Yep, I'm not sure how their recruitment's been either. They didn't have a manager for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I read they only had 6 players in the books at a time, so
difficult.
Big rebuilding job.
Yeah, difficult when you're part-time to kind of attract the kind of players. So we'll wait and see, but no, we seem to fully expect Kilmarnock to go through there. But that's the great thing about the Betfred Cup. You never know.
You never know.
In time. In sync. On to Group F. We've got Rangers of the Berwick variety, finishing bottom of their group last year in League 2. And then we've got Edinburgh City, who also finished bottom last year, also in League 2. And Edinburgh finished 7th in League 2, Berwick Rangers finished 8th. So it's fair to say these two are fairly evenly matched.
Indeed.
And I think they'll probably be doing battle for 4th and 5th in this group.
Absolutely.
But Edinburgh City with a cool new kit this season as well. Nice black and white colours.
It's the nicest kit I've seen this season.
It's really smart. I've seen them out and about strutting it in Edinburgh, advertising. It would be a great wee tourist thing for people to buy, I think.
I think so, because it's actually called Edinburgh City.
Edinburgh City. They've got the cool castle on the badge as well, moved to a new ground now, haven't they? They're no longer playing at...
ground sharing with Spartans. It's Ainsley Park.
Ainsley Park is correct. Not Meadowbank anymore.
Yeah, Meadowbank's getting redeveloped. Or demolished, I can't remember.
I think it's getting demolished.
They'll rebuild something.
Hopefully. We'll wait and see. And I think stars of the competition last year also in Group F, Championship Morton, who won their group and went all the way to the semi-finals. They were actually the furthest team to come from the group stage.
Yeah, they would be. Because
it would have been Celtic and Rangers in the other semi-final, wouldn't it?
Aberdeen against
Aberdeen Morton in
that
that one. and Morton ran them close. So they were absolutely excellent last season, and it really kind of propelled them on to big things in the league as well. Ran out of steam a bit in the end, but some good signings, and they've had a really good pre-season as well.
I think so. I mean, they've got Jai Kutongo back. He's now back in training.
There's real concern over him. He seems to be a real fragile...
Oh, they've been wrapped in bubble wrap.
A piece of china, him.
But they lost Thomas O'Ware for a couple of months.
Well,
Big centre-back.
He's been kind of rumoured. He was linked with Partick Thistle.
He suffered a knee ligament damage.
He's a big player for them. He was always good when I saw him playing against Falkirk last year.
He scored a couple of good goals against us, so that's a big loss for Morton.
Bob McHugh been scoring in the friendlies as well.
He's seen Gary Harkins as well.
Yes.
Which was a strange sign in my opinion.
But they've strengthened the squad. They've added players, which they needed. They needed a bit more depth in the team.
I mean, they're gearing up. I don't know if they would actually push for the title. That remains to be seen. But they're gearing themselves up for a real push at playoffs.
Oh,
I mean, prepared for it like what Falkirk tried to do in terms of build a big squad.
Aye.
If the squad's good enough, fair enough. But
all about that rotation. And they've put in new turnstiles. How
I did see that.
exciting!
Like, wow. Okay.
They're painted blue. It looks lovely. So it's all really exciting around Morton just now. Actually, only team in this group to qualify for the top position last year, but Motherwell of the Premiership looked to be the only other team could thwart them. Finished second in their group last year, but qualified as fastest losers. And then we have Queen's Park of League One, who finished fourth in the group last year. So I think, with these kind of lowly League 2, League 1 teams, Queen's Park finishing mid-table, it's between Morton and Motherwell here, isn't it?
Absolutely, it'll all come down to that head-to-head.
Quite an interesting head-to-head because, Motherwell finishing 9th in the Premiership, just avoiding, any relegation playoff battles and things, whereas Morton finishing top of the Championship, is there going to be that much between these teams at all?
On a one-off game, probably not, especially without the fitness. A lot of speculation around Louis Moult going to Aberdeen or going down south, so
they're not going to be able to hold off those bids for much longer.
I don't think so. I mean, he's a big player for Motherwell. He's kind of make or break. And if they lose him during the group stage, that's quite a difficult thing to kind of adjust because you don't have Scott McDonald anymore either.
Nope. Well, I think there were also Hearts were looking at Chris Cadden briefly. That was kind of thwarted.
It's all very unsettling a wee bit to the group.
I think these players are just going to have to go. They're going to have to accept that. And they are trying to rebuild, signing a few players kind of here and there, but nothing
big.
Nothing of real note.
They signed Gail Bigaramana from Newcastle. I'm sure.
I'm struggling with that.
You ever heard of that? I thought he was going to be like an absolutely brilliant player for Newcastle.
Clearly not if he's playing for Motherwell.
He just completely fell off the radar.
Right.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, he was one of the kind of French contingent
who came in.
They kind of signed. And he was also part of... He went to Rangers, I'm sure, on loan.
Couldn't tell you.
During that, they signed, was it Harris Vukic and 2 or 3 others. 5 came from Newcastle, I'm sure he was one of them. So I'll be quite interested to see how he adjusts. Because I thought he would have been an okay player for Newcastle, but I don't know anything.
Edinburgh City, I think, have made some good acquisitions in recent times as well. I believe Josh Walker used to play with Aberdeen and England under 21s.
He's still there. Denny Riordan.
I think he captains them now. I think, you're right, Riordan moved.
Craig Beattie will still be there. I think he's a player coach now. So they should be quite comfortable in League 2 this season. I'd be amazed if they went down.
We'll see. I hope they finish 4th in the group, going one better, and finishing one above Berwick Rangers as they did in the league.
That'd be quite funny.
So who are you tipping, John? Who's going to win this group?
If Motherwell keep a hold of Louis Moult, then Motherwell.
I'm going Morton.
Are you?
We'll wait and see. Group G now. We have Albion Rovers, who finished rock bottom of the group last time. Also finished 8th in League 1. Don't expect big things from them. But also we have East Kilbride, the Lowland League winners. Don't expect much from them. Then we've got Hamilton Accies. Don't expect much from them. No,
I don't expect much from them.
Well, they finished top of their group last time. We've also got Queen of the South, who are fastest losers last time, and Stennismuir, who are just stinking at the moment.
Yeah,
relegated out of League 2 last year after finishing bottom, and finished bottom of their group.
They've had a huge turnover of players as well. I was having a wee look.
But Stennismuir have just been on the down for a couple of years now. Kind of build, you used to have a kind of strong. They were a happy third division team. They liked to be at the top.
They were quite comfortable in League One. It slowly began to kind of they were hanging on for dear life.
Yeah.
For a couple of seasons, and they actually lost out the last day of the season to Peterhead. That's who got automatic relegation. Really?
And Peterhead still went down anyway.
Yep, you're right.
See, Peterhead, I thought, a good footballing team as years gone by, a real kind of stalwart of Scottish football in the lower divisions especially. So no, I fully expect this to go the same as teams have finished previously, and it'll be Hamilton, Accies and Queen of the South that can battle this out. I
don't know, this is a real tight group. There's nothing great at all. Hamilton haven't signed a single player this season, so they're not going to be...
But they don't need to, they can still win that final playoff game, can't they?
I don't know what kind of state that Queen of the South are currently in. So this is a tight group, and
I think between the two of them, I think the rest of them was just a...
I don't know, I mean, if you could take Albion Rovers, if they win their first game, something else goes awry, you never know, they could finish top of that group.
I guess
they could do a Peterhead.
With so few games, even if you lose your Hamilton Accies, your Queen of the South, if you beat East Kilbride and Stennismuir,
6 points, that could be enough. And even if you get a draw, say you got a draw against Queen of the South, if you're Albion Rovers, get the bonus point. Job was a good one.
The bonus point never really came into it last time.
No, but still. It feels good.
It does. I'm glad. I don't know what you're talking about anymore. Getting to that time of night, we're all getting delirious, yes. I think. So I know I totally agree with your point there, but an interesting group to keep an eye on. And last but not least, Group H, we have Airdrieonians. This is very much the third best group. We've Airdrieonians finishing third in their group last time, St Mirren finishing third in their group last time, Stranraer finishing third in their group last time, Livingston finishing fourth, ruining my nice symmetry, and Partick Thistle topping their group last time. Now, I actually think this is quite a close group. In terms of quality, only 2 League One teams are the bottom sides here. Rest are Championship and Premiership sides. So this is fairly even as far as quality is concerned.
I mean, I would still expect Partick to go through.
I don't know. See,
you look at St Mirren have sent quite a few players, but you don't know if they're any good. That's the big kind of question mark over them. Livingston coming up from League One. Again, you don't know what their priorities
Stranraer are such a difficult side to play as well. That might as well be in Ireland. It would actually be easier
to play in Ireland
if it was in Ireland. That's how they managed to finish third in their group last time.
Well, they've had terrific preparation for that, playing the FC20
over
the weekend as well. So
that was quite a wee emotional story. That actually, you read about that?
I never read the actual story. I watched the highlights.
It was a man in Holland who was dying of cancer. He was an FC20 fan, but he wanted to see an Old Firm game before he died. So one of the guys, he was a Stranraer and Celtic fan, sorted it for him, got the ticket, so he flew over. They did a tour of Ibrox, Celtic Park, Hampden. I think they went to Fir Park too. No, they didn't go to Fir Park. But so yeah, that was where the bond of Stranraer and FC20 kind of came from, and that's why they played this year, which is it's quite nice. I think they won 4-0, 20, 5-0, something like that. But it's a nice story.
Oh, I mean, there was something like 500 FC20 fans as well, which I thought was an incredible.
That is a mission.
They must have
driven and got a boat.
I can't decide what was easier. I don't know if it was easier to fly to Belfast and get the ferry over
backwards,
or if it was to go to Glasgow and just drive down.
I think they maybe drove from Holland. I really think some people would have done that. That kind
one
of
or two probably would, yeah, just a full-on tour.
Pilgrimage. So yeah, Partick Thistle, the strongest team here. Livingston, been making some moves in the summer. Quite a good pre-season from them. Played some quite strong teams like Hearts and kind of faced up okay. Graham Alexander
signed up.
I think it was the first time he's back in 15 years or something they were saying, which is crazy.
Yeah, they'll be playing Sunderland on Tuesday, tomorrow.
Livingston?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I think so.
Could be a difficult game at Armadale there. Airdrieonians, what do you expect from them?
Not a great deal. I don't know anything. They're a real bother, I think, financially.
Are they?
Again.
Oh dear.
I don't know why they keep bothering, to be honest.
Who's not in financial bother though these days? So yeah, I think this could go to any of Livingston, Partick Thistle or St Mirren.
Aye, Partick Thistle quite comfortable. I think they'll win all their games.
So I think this could be a fastest loser group too. I think we could see
Possibly, I think St Mirren, if you were going to pick a fastest loser.
Aye. We're going into our muscle bra horse racing talk too much now.
Winning by a nose.
So who's going to take this for you?
Overall? Whole tournament?
The group. Not the tournament.
It's perfect.
Oh, right, okay. Right, who's going to take the tournament then?
Celtic.
Thank you, yes. There was no even any point in asking that question. Although we said last week, Rangers will make the group stage. So you never know. I don't know. I've got a good feeling about St Mirren this year. Good feeling about St Mirren.
A lot of people do. They missed it in no real life, so they've already lost the league.
Partick, you're probably not firing on all cylinders. Won't be too bothered about this, so we will wait and see. Anyway, I think that rounds up our preview
Of the Betfred Cup.
of the Betfred Cup. So we have a wee quiz to play us out.
Yes, we do. Only just aimed at you.
Yes, I'll be playing the quiz. So we encourage you to play at home and see if you can beat me, I guess. So
Right.
let's introduce, before we do anything, the quiz music. Right, John.
Okay.
What's the theme?
Well, it's the League Cup, would you believe?
It's a daft question.
Right. Now, this was intended for Darren to be here.
Right?
So
no.
bear with me, because it's a little, it's kind of long. But
We'll
anyway,
muddle through.
We'll muddle through.
We'll cut it short if we need to cut it short.
Yeah. Basically, you were to name the League Cup finalists.
Right?
Okay, so when they arrive, when they
arrived.
I hammed it.
11:30, just outside the front door.
It was a bit like, when was their kind of most recent appearance
Oh,
in a
right.
League Cup final?
Right. So, like, you name a team.
Yeah, so I'll give you like the obvious one's Celtic, right?
Yes.
And you would get 1 point because it's an easy one.
Last season.
Yep. So you would have to tell me the name of the club,
When they were in the final.
the year they appeared in the final.
Right.
So you can go like, say 16, 17,
Mhm.
Celtic. And then if they were the winner or the runner-up.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
You get 1 point for the easy club, 2 points for a semi-difficult club, and 3 points for difficult. So you can understand why this was intended for having more than 1 point.
Yes. This quiz, I think, for a start, would have been almightily difficult because you've massively overestimated myself's or Darren's knowledge of the League Cup finalists.
Not really, I mean, most of them are obvious.
We'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Give it a go. Right. I'm going to start with easy and say Aberdeen 2016-17.
Mhm.
Right. Who was in the League Cup final the year before? Aberdeen won the League Cup final. But I can't say Aberdeen again, can I?
Nope.
And no, Inverness won the Scottish Cup, didn't they?
Yep, but they did get to a final. When?
Was it in recent history?
Yeah, only...
I'm going to say 2014-2015.
Oh, yeah, a year out. 13, 14.
Oh, nearly.
But they were actually the runners-up as well.
Did Livingston win the League Cup?
They did.
You get a lot of points for
You would
Livingston.
get a lot,
wouldn't
you get 3 points for that.
Right. Right. Is it 2-0-0? Like the year 2000 and...
Yeah, it's like...
It's not in the teens or the tens.
No.
Is it the... Right. I think it's 2000 and... It's 2003, 2004, 2004, 2005. One of those. Back a bit. 2002, 2004.
03 or 04.
Was it 2003, 2004?
Yes. You were close.
That's a difficult one I would have struggled with.
That was 3 points.
My knowledge of the League Cup isn't that great.
I'm sure they beat Hibs in the final.
Right. Did St Mirren win the League Cup?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Stephen Thompson goes on about this all the time.
Again.
And quite rightfully so. Right.
He's really good,
that wouldn't have been that long ago.
No.
So we're saying Celtic last year. Probably...
Oh
no! Oh no, it wasn't Hibs, that's the Scottish Cup. Who would have been the year before? I think it was the year before that.
Hibs were in the final of that season as well. Because mind where they got to the final of the League Cup. They were the final of the Scottish Cup, but won the Scottish Cup. But who beat them in the League Cup?
Who beat Hibs?
Now, they beat Celtic on the way to the final. This team.
Was it like...
Quite...
It wasn't St Johnstone. It must have been a rubbish team though.
It was a rubbish team. A fairly rubbish team.
It can't have been Kelly. Kelly didn't win out then. Is it a team from the Premier League? Was it Ross County?
Aye, it was Ross County.
Right, Ross County 2014-2015.
No, 15-16.
Right, St Mirren.
So then we're 2012, 2013.
I was going to say 2012, 2013. Why didn't you just leave me to do that? I would have got all the points. Alright, so who won it after St Mirren? Well, Rangers have obviously won the League Cup.
Aye, but when? Because I was quite surprised at this.
Right.
But you've got to remember, there was a period where they were really challenging.
2000... I'm going to say 2008, 2009?
Ah, a wee bit earlier. Yeah,
2006, 2007. 2007, 2008. Really?
10, 11.
10, 11. Right. So that would have been one of the last years they were...
That must have been... Yeah, because we popped them out the year after.
In the League Cup.
In 11-12, Falkirk beat them 3-2. Mark Miller free kick.
Oh, why? That was on the telly. Yeah. That was on like ESPN back when ESPN was more of a thing.
That was that.
That was that, right. So you say Inverness won it?
Inverness did win it, yep.
In recent history?
Fairly recent, I'm sure it was at Celtic Park. It would have been at Celtic Park.
Did they beat St Johnstone, who knocked out Aberdeen?
They might have done, aye.
Aye, right. That's very recent. So
was it St Johnstone?
Yeah, it must have been, because Stevie May scored a goal against Aberdeen at Celtic Park. I'm sure of it.
Maybe.
I'm absolutely sure of it. So it wouldn't have been last season, it wouldn't have been the season before, but it could have been the season before that.
Oh, when was the Commonwealth Games?
Was it 2014, 2015?
The year before, 13-14.
Oh, I'm always a year out.
Yeah, almost a year out.
I would have been rubbish at the Darren's probably sitting at home ticking off everything. No, he's not. I can guarantee that. Tell you what, I've got one for you.
Right.
East Fife, 1950.
Nah, 53-54.
Oh, no! I looked that up! And I saw East Fife had won it 3 times.
They actually won it.
You sure it's 54?
53-54 was the last time they appeared in a final. No. They won it. They did win it before because they beat Falkirk.
Would that not have been a big point scorer?
47. That was like huge point.
Oh dear. I'm out of knowledge at that point. Who else is
So you've got Falkirk 47-48.
Did they win it twice?
No, they were runners up.
Oh.
Because East Fife bet them in a replay.
Wow.
So that was like
That was like an...
I mean, I had to look at the attendees. It was 51,000
at an East Fife Falkirk game.
At the first game. This was at Hampden.
Right.
And then for the replay there was 31,000. I must have been playing in the afternoon. So
Hampden wouldn't have been very full, I'm guessing.
It would have been lying half empty, but 50,000.
I don't know.
You had third Lanark.
Oh, aye, mind them.
Or runners up, 59-60.
Are they not now Airdrieonians, technically?
Kinda.
Aye. So they still exist in some capacity.
Morton were runners up, 63-64. Partick won it in 71-72. Wraith won it in 94-95.
Wraith? In 94-95?
I'm sure that got them into Europe, if I remember right, and they played Bayern Munich.
Jeez, oh.
Aye.
I saw that Hearts, I think in like 88-89, had a good run in the UEFA Cup. Back when it was knockout only, they won 3 games against rubbish teams and played Bayern Munich in the quarter-final.
Oh, I'm sure Dunfermline got to the semi-finals of the Cup Winners' Cup.
Did they?
Back in the 60s, aye. Just shows you.
Imagine what it would have been like to be about then.
Oh,
and seeing these teams at East End Park. Crazy. Anyone else unusual?
Yeah, there United were runners up with 102.
Gret?
Nah, Gret were League Cup. Kilmarnock won it 11-12. Dunfermline were runners up with 506.
Oh, I mind that.
Nothing really spectacular other than that. Dundee runners up 95-96. So it would have been better if there had been a competitor.
Yeah, we wouldn't have got any points.
You probably would have done alright.
If you think about it really hard, I think. Oh well, that was good, John. Thank you for putting that together.
That's okay.
Sorry that I was the only one here to play it with you. So I guess that rounds off our League Cup preview.
Indeed.
For this week. Stay tuned next week where we go over the results of the games, and we'll also take a look at the Aberdeen and Celtic game. So thank you for listening from me, Paul.
Cheers guys, this was John.
See you later.